Hello and welcome. Today we're taking a look at the HK MP5-22 and specifically adding an AC Unity fixed stock to one. If you go down the path of SBR in one of these, then one of the first challenges is the fact that while this is branded HK, it's really made by Umarex, who primarily make airsoft and BB guns, which means this does not fit just any MP5 stock. In fact, most real MP5 stocks emphatically will not fit. However, the AC Unity A2 fixed stock is often mentioned as being an exception with some small modification required, so let's dive into that. First off, why won't normal MP5 stocks fit? Well, it's because the depth and the thickness of the grooves on the side of the receiver. The MP5-22 is 1.15 inches, while the MP5 clone is only 1 inch. This actual MP5 stock has corresponding wedges inside of the stock that are too fat and stick out too far to fit onto the MP5-22 receiver. The AC Unity stock, however, has thinner wedges that also do not stick out quite as far, and they're slightly ramped. This helps them to fit into place, and it can then be slightly stretched once it's firmly seated. That takes care of fitment, but what about modification? You see, while the AC Unity stock fits onto the receiver, the holes for the stock pin don't quite align. The receiver stock pin hole is a bit further north than a standard MP5 spec, so we need to move the hole in the stock to match. It's an almost trivial amount, but it's just enough to be a pain and not something that can just be forced. For this, I used a file, drill, 1/4 inch bit, rubber hammer, and a bench block. I started with the hobby file, but quickly swapped to the drill. The stock locking pin is just a touch over 1/4 inch, so I used a 1/4 inch drill bit to egg out the hole. A few passes from each side was enough to allow tapping in the pin. This took several passes of fitting, filing, testing, and repeating to get correct. The amount of material removed is pretty small, but you want to focus on removing plastic, not metal. Getting both of the sides aligned so there's a straight shot is the most challenging part, since the pin will easily go in from one side or the other, but at such an angle that it will never go through to the other side of the stock. Once the holes have been migrated enough, then the pin securely holds the stock with no discernible wobble or play. Also, the metal bracket in the back of the stock is entirely unnecessary for the MP5-22, and it fell out, so I just left it out. Overall, this is a fairly simple solution for a budget-friendly, classic-looking fixed stock for the MP5-22. It feels rock solid, has QD sockets, and will certainly suffice until I finally break down and buy one of the rifles to steal the A3 stock from that one. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this was insightful if you also have one of these super fun blinkers, and I'll see you again next time.